Okay, it looks like we're going again. No watchers, time clock is working.
Anyway, this was done before Biden's press conference. We'll talk about Biden. We're not doing a press conference. He was hiding. There's some material wrong with him. Now, of course, he did do a press conference last week. And if you didn't know that, he had a cheat sheet, or actually more than one cheat sheet. He had a cheat sheet and had photographs and the names of all the 20 correspondents that were allowed in the room. And beforehand, the correspondents had to send their questions in. So Biden had the questions, and then, of course, his staff make up the answers to those questions. And that by Biden, all I do was says, question, here's the answer, read out the answer, and be done. Of course, if you watched, and I didn't watch all of it, but I guess he stumbled at least 3 times trying to answer questions, stop answering questions. It stopped me. There's something wrong with that man.
Okay, kids, we're back live. We're recording at 2. Well, we had 2 watchers. We're down to 1 now. But if you can hear us in the chat room, can you send us a message and let us know about how long we were off? We figured we were off about 25 minutes, and we didn't catch it because we were busy doing other things. So while we're at that point, I had on the board that I wanted to discuss, but I'm not going to go into it because of the complications here as to what's going on. Biden has announced, or his press secretary has announced, that he will be signing some executive orders on gun control. No date has been set as of yet, but it's official. He is going to do that. They still have to do some studying and probably look at the ramifications of what they do. So the dictator is down there in Washington dictating to you that you can't have, you're going to dictate to you, you can't have guns. And I do know that one of the things he's after is stopping the sale of 80% receivers for AR-15s or any other gun out there. For a while, you could get some for Glock and you could get some for 45. So he wants to put a stop to that. I did see during the week that the Sixth Circuit Court handled the defeat to the gun grabbers by overturning Trump's ban on bump stocks. So there's still some hope, but you'll see what's going on. We do this, we do that, and we want this, so we'll give you back this because this is going to do greater damage to your ownership than this is going to do. So they keep trading back and forth, and each time they make a trade, you get less for giving up more. Dylan, okay, thank you. We're down about 30 minutes. Okay. So I don't know what we did or what we said, but I'll have to keep, next time we're back up, I'll have to keep a better watch. You know what was funny? Not you come back there, Dylan. You know what was funny? The chats were still coming through. So it was just our video that was being interrupted. But the chats were still coming through on the board over here. So you got me. I don't know. All I know is me push button and motorcycle goes down road like hell.
Okay. Anyway.
Makes me feel like the chinky Chinaman sitting on a fence trying to make $1 out of 50 cents. Oh, I shouldn't have said that because that would be hate speech. Since I said the word Chinaman.
Anyway, we got time.
Yeah.
Biden abruptly fired all 32 members of the Homeland Security Advisory Council.
When did he do that?
This past week.
Oh, I missed it.
Actually, March 26th is the date. Joe Biden's administration just fired all 32 members of the Homeland Security Advisory Council, according to the letter DHS Secretary Mayor Koss said to members. The letter sent Friday informed members that everything is spelled two different ways in the same paragraph. Mayor Ross. Anyway, as then the terms of the current members effective March 26th. Anyway, Mayor Ross wrote that I'm honored to address you as a new secretary and to express my profound gratitude for your commitment to the Department of Homeland Security. How you have demonstrated your commitment in different ways, including through your service as a member of the Homeland Security Advisory Council, HSAC. Many of you served on the HSAC for years. Now, and he goes on to say, I'm considering how the HSAC can bring the greatest value to the department and how the expertise, judgment, and counsel of members can be harnessed more effectively to advance the department's mission. Which is what? Anyway. He goes on to say, I expect you to work closely with the HSAC and allies members to help guide the department through the period of change. Change administrations? Anyway. Or change of what they're doing. In the service of the orderly transition to a new model for the HSAC, I've ended the terms of the current members effective March 26. I will reconstitute the Homeland Security Advisory Council in the next few weeks once a new model has been developed. So what new model will that be? Anyway, Chairman William Bratton and Vice Chair Karen Candy remain in their leadership positions. Everybody else goes away. Except for William Webster, who remained as the chair's meritorious status here. And we go on to thank you for your service. Now, Fox News interjects here that Homeland Security Advisory Council said for members who are unpaid to use their expertise and experience expertise in Homeland Security issues like counterterrorism and immigration enforcement to offer guidance to the Secretary of Homeland Security. Okay, now let's see. On the council or on the advisory committee, President Trump had a couple folks, and other ones were on there for a longer period of time. But a number of people on there have been appointed by both Democratic and Republican administration, so everybody pretty much except for the chair, vice chair, and another third person here. Now, let's see. Homeland Security Committee Ranking Member John Katko, Republican in New York, criticized this move because it's a shame that Secretary Mayor Koss removed these well-respected Homeland Security leaders and have dedicated their careers to strengthening our Homeland Security posture. I urge the Secretary to take a thoughtful approach to the reconstitution advisory council and mindful of the message he intends to send. It's kind of interesting that he keeps the leadership but fires everybody else. My guess is he wants people more in line with what the current Democratic regime wants to do.
I just typed in a chat message. Welcome to Free America. The lights are flickering now. And that. So anyway.
Power drain.
Yeah. We got about 10 minutes to go here. So I'm not going to veer off of this. So if you got something else, Mr. T, or we just chit chat for the last 10 minutes. I don't know what we said or did, but something took us down for that 30 minutes.
It was me. So, I'm sure if I read.
We were talking about, you guys know what we were talking about. Leastwise, the guys out there in the FM.
Yes.
I'm only seeing just one viewer now, so the other one's
And for
probably
those that are listening, FM, internet, or will tune in later, um, crunch time is coming. If you need to buy a firearm, there are some gun shows. One here in Pennsylvania, Cherry Tree, coming up. We got next weekend?
Yeah, that's
the weekend after Easter. Look for your weekly bargain bulletins or area shoppers. People sell guns. There are estate sales, but if you can, try to find someone who's selling as a private owner and see what he's selling. Maybe there's an item or two on there you want to buy, and perhaps he has ammunition to sell with that too. Get it now. No paperwork involved. No federal firearm license guy involved. No form to fill out that goes in the government somewhere. The government doesn't have. No, it's not their business anyway.
And don't give any information on surveys about whether you got a firearm or not. And if you have to go to a new doctor and they ask you on their forms, because they're being required by the American Medical Association, who's probably being required by somebody in Washington, probably the Center for Disease Control or Federal Drug Administration or whoever. Yeah, Martin, we're back live for about 9 more minutes. I'm glad to see you tune back in. I don't know what happened as to why we went down, but I did not realize we were down. So I had to go back and restart. So if you have any contacts with any of the viewers that we had this, our normal chat room kids, you can tell them that we came back when we found out that we were down. And I sent a chat. I just was playing around here trying to figure out how I could send a chat to you guys. So I just figured it out just a few minutes ago, and I stamped one out in a hurry. So you notice it's not spelt right, but that was done on purpose. Anyway, so now we're back up to 2. Yeah, as I was saying, you need to get there to get the last of your supplies. And something that I found, if you weren't listening in the first hour, is you need to, just get in the car on a Saturday and start driving around to some of the small towns, especially away from the big towns, and just stop in at some of these hardware stores. And you'll be surprised what you will find in there. That's right, on purpose. You'll be surprised what you find in there. And that I found some 7.62 by 39 at what I would call last year's prices before the pandemic hit, because everything I see now is almost 75% higher. Okay. Almost 100% higher, actually.
I've seen ammunition on the internet, you get a box of 50, it's $50 or more. So over $1 a round or more.
Yeah. But you got to look at the fine print. A lot of it says temporary out of stock.
Yeah.
Okay. So what you need to do is don't stand there and say, well, I can get it cheaper on the internet, because chances are you're not going to be able to. So if you see it, buy it. That's the only way we're going to get ahead here. I see we got a number 3. Oh, we're up to 3 listeners in the last 10 minutes here. So that's good. Just keep them coming, kids. Now we're back to 2. Must have been somebody checking us. Must have been that one that didn't like us checking to see if we were back on.
It's his fault. Or their fault. Whatever.
Yeah, their fault. Well, we never claimed to be the favorite of everybody anyway. Isn't it so nice to be loved by so many of your enemies?
I feel so good.
Uh,
I'm touched.
so,
Anyway,
but
if you need to practice, okay, of course, dry fire is a good thing to practice with first. You make sure you get your breathing and your hold your pistol, shotgun, rifles. Zero in your airways, zero in electronically. Lasers are good things to use. At least get close enough that you get a chance to go out somewhere and shoot, that you can finalize it. If you can, if you know someone who's out, not around too many people, you might get away with some shooting going on now.
if you need to practice in functioning with your pistol, get somebody to make you up a bunch of dummy loads.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you don't have anybody that can make you up some dummy loads so that you can use them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, take some live rounds and slowly drill a hole in the side of the casing, slowly, so it don't get hot, and dump the powder out. Okay. And then put water down inside there and let it sit for a few hours, and that will nullify the primer. Then you can take and put that in your gun, and you can cycle it just like it was being fired, except you have to manually operate a semi-automatic or whatever. And because where most people have problem when they're shooting is instead of squeezing the trigger.
Yeah, because they want to use.
Yeah. Instead of squeezing the trigger, they
jerk it.
Or
back to 3.
Yeah, we're back to 3. Uncle Bog's back on there. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, then you can function test it. The other thing that people do is they don't hold their wrist stiff.
No.
And when they go to squeeze the trigger or jerk the trigger, what do? They drop the front of the gun. Well, what's that make the bullet do? Makes the bullet go down. So practice holding your gun stiff. If you do nothing else, just sit there and hold it out there. Actually, if you got a little extra weight, tie it on there, onto the muzzle, so that you have that little extra weight to build up your wrist muscles so that you can control your motion of your weapon better. And once you build up that strength, when you squeeze the trigger, you won't drop it. Oh, Mr. T's head's in there. So when you squeeze the when you squeeze the trigger, you don't drop. Okay.
Now there are you on YouTube, and I go while you still can, and try to find those instructional videos that go on different kind of weapons. Just make sure if you practice along with them that your gun is unloaded. And I know this is kind of hard to believe, but some people buy the wrong ammo for their pistol or rifle, whatever, shotgun. And shotguns, they're 2 3/4 gauge and 3-inch gauge, inches rather for the, And I've known people who, they have a 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, and they'll buy 3-inch and have some problems.
I was just reading here that
they pull the trigger. Crazy
Uncle Bob said we ought to simulcast on Pornhub. I was thinking about that. That's not a half bad idea. But I don't know if Pornhub would allow it. And then again, I don't know how.
I'm not sure I'm going to be doing nudity on.
And I don't know.
I've lost weight, but I don't.
And so.
It's not sure to do that yet.
Yeah. And besides that, I haven't figured out how to do simulcast because I've been wanting to figure out a way to do that simulcast on the internet on another provider, and I haven't been able to do that. Somebody is telling me I would probably have to do. Wow, here comes a whole bunch of things. I'd probably have to do.
Jack come back on there?
Yeah, Jack's back on there.
Yeah, okay.
So I haven't figured out how to do that other than maybe take two computers, which is fine because one computer would go through the radio and the other one would go back out online. But there again, like I said, I haven't figured that one out yet. But if I get a chance, I will try to figure it out.
It's now 8 o'clock.
Okay, kids. Now that you're all coming back,
It's time for us to go away.
I'm going to have to say goodnight. But remember, spread the void. There will be no show next week because it is Easter, and we will see you the week after that. And we'll see if we can't do something better. And for those of you just tuning in, you'll notice that I sent out a message through the chat room because I just figured out how to do that tonight. And I misspelled a lot, but that was done on purpose, as Martin Grace says. So,
Yeah, we were censored.
yeah, Trump said he was going to start one, and I've been thinking about investigating that, but I haven't heard that it got started. So, on that note, guys, good night. See you in 2 weeks, and don't let the bed bug bite.
Have Easter, don't eat too much chocolate at once. Good night, all.